friends, hello, greetings, and salutations. Look at that right there. Hello, it is time to talk about DJT, Trump Media, Truth Social, whatever you want to call it here, and Rumble. All the news that's going on here. It's crazy week in the market right now. We're having all these companies come out with their quarterlies. A lot of them are producing good quarterlies, but it's still not doing enough, and the market is going down. Things that are doing well in the market should not be doing well, and things that are doing well, you get what I'm saying here. It's just an upside down world right now in this market. So talking about, let's go into Trump Media here. First of all, obviously Trump is becoming filthy rich off of his company right here, Trump Media. The latest news that's breaking here is that Donald Trump just got another $1.8 billion worth of Trump Media stock. And let me tell you what, the headlines out here, these articles are not pleasant. They are ripping him apart right now, obviously. So the bonus, known as earnout shares, was triggered by the company's share price staying above certain levels. Trump Media said that in the filing that on April 26, it officially determined the performance criteria had been satisfied, and Trump was issued the earn-out shares. So this is fantastic, and this is what a lot of investors were pushing for. Obviously, ones that are rooting for Trump Media here, and this has been the thing that I've been arguing here, is that you're seeing different big groups, very big groups of investors wrapped up in this stock right now, where when we look at a chart at this, and obviously just let me go ahead and put this out in the ether of the video, because I know there's going to be people in here ripping me to shreds for this, but this isn't a company that is producing crazy quarterlies, deals, money, all that kind of stuff. Obviously we know that, and I know that. That's a dead old argument at this point. This is strictly still just a hype play. This is nonsense. Doesn't make sense. This is defying all the odds of what is supposed to be happening here, and analysts hate it, and people that hate Trump hate it, but people that love it are people that are short selling it, people that love Trump, people that are supporting Trump Media, people that want this to work, people that want Trump as the next president. So you have all these things that are combining right now and forming together, and this is why Trump Media is back to $50 a share, when most of us, and I gotta admit, I was in this pool for a moment, and I still am for a certain kind of reason, but I thought this was going back to the teens. I thought we were in a huge reset, and I gotta be honest, selfishly, I would love to see a reset in the stock. I know a lot of people would. That's the number one comment I see, where people are like, I was really hoping this was gonna go back to the high teens, so I could stock back up on my shares. And I'm not gonna say that's not gonna happen. And right now, it's not gonna happen anytime soon in the next week or two, because the stock is so hot right now that investors are pushing this. They're simply pushing the stock right now to where this could be a moment in time where the stock gets even stupider. And I say that in a good manner. I'm not making fun of the company or stock. I mean this as the situation is hilarious, and it's amazing, because people are making filthy amounts of money on this right now. This stock could keep going. We could see 55 tomorrow. We could see 60. We could see 70 here within a week or two. There's no rules what could happen, what cannot happen right now, and that's why people are in love with this. I mean, think if you bought in just on the 16th, when this thing looked like it was headed for the bottom of the ocean. This thing went right back down to $22, and even I was like, okay, here we go. I'm about to load back up, and I was like, okay, 15, 16, I'm gonna load back up. Well, I didn't get my 15, 16. This baby just shot. It went right back to the high 30s. And then we had a little bit of a low there for a moment at 32. And then it said, I'm going to hit the gas pedal again. And we went right back to 50. And every analyst is just sitting there going, It just doesn't make sense in their head. And this has been the argument. I'm like, this is just a rogue stock. It's not going to follow the market. It's going to do what it wants to do, and simply, it is moving a lot like the AMC situation, where it's being highly manipulated. I mean, if you don't think if this is the first time you're watching anything like this, understand this is a stock right now that is highly manipulated. So it's amazing learning point right now for people that like us investors as we watch this. First of all, there's never been anything like this. There's never been a company where the former president is like the face of it, and it's totally legal. That's the thing. And not to mention, the guy's been in court every day, and the worse the media makes him out to be, the more people love him in the polls, and that's one thing you can't even hear about right now. Like these news outlets, they are not even releasing polls anymore because they know which way they're leaning towards. So we're getting closer to the election, and as we get closer to the election, obviously we still have some time here. There's still a lot of hurdles to come over here. I really think when we get into these later months here around August, September, that's when I'm really thinking, this stock is really going to be on fire. And I may be totally wrong about that. Just because I'm sitting here spewing things out of my mouth on my YouTube channel, that is somewhat successful in a weird way, this could really take off more. If I told you it's going to take off, I may be right. If I told you it's going to go down, I may be right. It's a rogue stock. It's going to do what it wants to do. It's being highly manipulated. So that's why it's so hard for anyone to say what it's going to do. You know how many articles I've read over the past, just 2-3 months, where they said it was going to go back down to $5, $10. You're crazy if you're putting money into this. And, this stock has proven time and time again, if you're not in it, you're losing out. And I made this comment 3-4 months ago, and I know some of you remember, where I said, we could be in a situation where $50 is really cheap for this stock right now. And listen to this main part, what I'm about to say. I am not an expert. I am not a economist. I am not a professional stock investor, banker, whatever you want to say here, all that kind of stuff. I'm just a guy. I'm an investor like any of you. But what I will say is that, in my mind, I go, is $50 cheap right now? Is this cheap? And that's where I really have to think about, do I jump in right now, or do I be a cheapskate and I wait? And obviously there's different kind of traders in here right now. There's traders that are willing to buy in now and wait until September, November, where they really want to sell the big mark and take their money and go. And then we have day traders in here, short traders. Maybe they hold it for a few weeks. They're buying in at 30, they're selling at 50, making a decent amount of money, and then they're just repeating that process. That's awesome, great for everyone. And then you have people in here who they don't do that kind of stuff. We just have a simple investor in here. Nothing wrong with that. Not saying anything negative. Just somebody who wants to support Trump. They like Trump media, and they want to be a part of this. They want to feel like they're part of it, like they're helping the cause. And they say, I'm going to put $1,000 in the stock. I don't really care what happens. I don't care about quarterlies. I don't care about debt ratio. I don't care what they're doing. Blah, blah, blah. They don't care. They're just putting money into it. So you have all these things that are binding up together right now. So I don't know. I wonder if everybody's on the same page with that kind of with that. So what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say that simply, do not be shocked to see Trump media here go back down to $20. Don't be shocked to see this go to $60 to $70 here, maybe this week or next week. The stock is highly reacting to news right now with Trump. Bad news, it's doing good. Good news with Trump, it's doing good. Maybe not as hot, but it loves bad news. So right now with all this stuff with Trump, he's in court every day with this whole thing is up against right now. And then we have this news, with the share increase today, and this is great news and makes Trump look good, makes him look like the winner. It's good news for Trump, obviously, and this is why the general media is you're having to dig for it. So friends, when it comes down to it, I wish I had a crystal ball. I wish I could tell everybody where it's going next. I don't know. But the fact that it is holding so strong right now is such a firm indicator that this thing is so healthy and so strong to where, it's going to take a lot more to really crash the stock. It's proven that it can survive really bad time in the market. When we lost the market 3 weeks ago, when everything was on fire, it survived it. It actually did really good. And now it's back and doing better than most of these Fortune 500 companies that are on the S&P 500 that reported good earnings. It's doing better than them with volume and trade of hands right now. It's highly manipulated, but highly manipulated in a really good way to where people are making a lot of money day trading this thing in and out right now. So that's the best I can come up with right now with what's going on. I think it's a fantastic situation. I think it's a very interesting situation, and I think it's a very it's a situation that's attracting a lot of different investors, and there's a lot of people that have money wrapped up in it right now. And with that, this is what makes a stock really get expensive. That's why I'm saying I don't think $60 and $70 is that crazy. I really don't think that. It's already been there. It was there just a month ago for a short moment. We know it can do it. We know it can do $100. We've seen it at $100 before. I'm just saying. So don't be shocked to see this thing drop dramatically and then a few days later for it to shoot up dramatically. It's a volatile stock. It's not controlled by money in the sense of what the company is producing, bread and butter. It's controlled by investor money, highly manipulated, and that makes it very volatile for good and bad reasons. That's the best I can tell you. Talking about Rumble, Rumble's had a hard month. It went through this market crash, but it survived. And honestly, I probably get Rumble's like one of the stocks that I get probably the second most comments about, where it's either good or bad, and people like to come after Rumble, and I know why they like to come after Rumble. They like to come after Rumble because it's connected to free speech. It's connected to Trump right now. It's connected to just free speech, like I just said, and there's a majority of people watching videos about Rumble who just want it to do bad because of what it represents. And I know those comments that come in. I get it. But Rumble is doing very well. And that is the issue that a lot of these people who are betting against it are finding right now. Rumble is doing very good. Rumble is producing quarterlies. Rumble is producing heavy subscribership. Rumble is producing a lot of traction out there in the market right now. It's getting a lot of people's attention. So with that, Rumble is come right back. It's at $7 again. So the next big thing we're expecting here with Rumble, obviously, is their second quarterly, which we're some time away from that. They just came out with their first one. But saying that, I do have a little bit of a theory that Rumble could possibly really take off here and could shoot up the most we've seen it here when we get into September, October, November, election time. Rumble, obviously being a platform that is heavily saturated in free speech right now. And, I think it's pretty obvious if you're on Rumble, it is highly pushing a more Republican, outlook right now, which is fine, obviously, for if you're a Republican or just whatever, even Rumble's just more of like a bro site. I don't know. If you go on there, that's kind of what they're pushing right now, which is good and bad, but it is a little narrow with what they're doing, and I would like to see them expand on that, what they have on their site. But saying that too, this could be, and I think they know this, keen opportunity for Rumble to really push into the election coming up, where they really get their name out there. They're really, getting a lot of attention with what's going to be coming up. So, because it's obvious that the mainstream, like I sound like a conspiracy theorist when I say all this, but I think it's quite obvious. If you live on planet Earth here at this point, whether you're Republican, Democrat, middle ground, whatever, obviously the general media is saturated in their own thinking, and just like I said about Trump, I mean, they do not like the guy. You're not going to find anything positive. He could save a bus full of nuns, and they're going to say he was mean and rude to them. I mean, it's just what it is. Whether you like Trump, don't like Trump, I think that's a statement we can all agree on. But Rumble's in the situation right now where it is somewhat heavily layered in politics right now, especially with people that they have on their platform. And and this is the golden goose that they need right now. They need the Rogan. They need Rogan. Rumble and Joe Rogan have been gossiped and talked about for quite some time. Rogan has even said this in the past on his podcast, that he has talked to the people at Rumble, but the deal has just never happened. So, to me, that's like the dark horse in the background for Rumble. They need, if they get Rogan, you're talking huge numbers, you're talking huge money. And obviously the other dark horse in the corner right now that's starting to pick up a little more traction, like it did 2 months ago at this point, is the TikTok ban. Obviously, we have the TikTok ban that's happened, and I don't know where that's going. Obviously, we're months. They signed the bill. It's in process of happening. And Rumble stepped up and they said, "Hey, we would like to support the server system with TikTok and make it safe for everyone, and we'll take it on and work out a deal." Well, TikTok really didn't respond to that. Rumble put it out there on the table, and obviously, TikTok is trying to figure out what's going on themselves, and obviously, our congressmen and women, they came out and said, well, we want them to work with Meta, Google, all that. I wonder why, because, where do you think they have all their shares at? They think they're so smooth. God almighty. Friends, key thing to know about with Rumble here, Rumble could really start to take off here later on in the year here. If Rumble closed this year at a $10 to $12 share price, I think that is a huge win. Especially if you're buying in now. Or you were buying in, just a few months ago when Rumble here was at $3, $4, or $5. That's a huge win. And like I've said, I know there's all kinds of different traders in here. There's long term, there's short term, there's day traders, there's just traders that are in here making short plays, whatever kind of play they can get. I get that. But if you're long-term with Rumble and you're trying to build this up into something very special in the next 5 to 10 years, I do think you're better off buying now than you are later on in the year if you think it's going to go down. For me, I'm very bullish that Rumble is going to be a little more expensive going in later into the year. And I'll say this too. This is really going to PO some people that hate Trump, but I do suspect if Trump were to win in November, I'm not saying he's going to, but I do suspect that there would be a bull run in our market going into 2025. I do suspect that because we've seen that before with Trump being attached to the market, being the president. And obviously we know where Trump is going to focus his attention with money, our market, and it's probably going to explode. But I didn't say that because, that's crazy talk here. Friends, I'm going to stop talking now. I wish everyone the best of luck out there. Like I said, DJT, what can you say? What can you say? It's not supposed to be doing what it's doing. It's doing what it wants to do. It's like a toddler that won't listen, and I love it. And Rumble is doing amazing. Rumble is a company that's new. It's making money. It's producing talent. and it's doing all the right things. But it's another one of these companies that are coming out with good quarterlies. They have good numbers. Within the next 2 to 3 years, we're expecting them to be even double what they are company-wise. But their stock is still not able to really get up and take off right now. There's a lot of companies like that right now. There's just a lot of companies. I mean, we're living in a world right now where stocks that should be falling apart are not. I mean, Tesla is a prime example. Tesla came out with a bad quarterly. Then Tesla came out and said, hey, by the way, the next one and the one after that, and probably the rest of the year, they're going to be bad. By the way, we're revamping the whole company, so it's going to get a lot worse the next 5 years. But if you're willing to hang on, the next 10 years is going to be really good with us. And people go, okay, great. And then Tesla comes out with some more news that people like. And then Tesla stock goes freaking crazy, almost back to $200. And now we're seeing a little bit of sell-off. Nothing made sense in this market. It just doesn't make sense. You know, all we can do is what we can do and invest in companies that are actually producing good quarterlies, good money for the long run. And at this point, everyone's just waiting for the next bull run, whether it's in stocks or crypto or both of them combined. What do you want me to say? I think we're all in the same boat. We're all on the same page right now. Friends, I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.